Some of us can feel like we can't work unless we're already interested in something or there's a deadline in place. Otherwise, we're stuck. We can't fake interest and we can't fake a deadline. So what do? Unfortunately, this state can lead us to a feeling of helplessness because we can't help ourselves. And when we can't help ourselves, we often grow afraid. Important matters feel impossible to get to, and even things we'd otherwise enjoy can sit there while we're seemingly paralyzed for reasons we don't understand. And then shame, guilt, anger, and the like can follow. Sometimes, though, fear seems to give us a way forward. We might even try to use it. Praising it will say, that's when I do my best, when my back is up against the wall. And maybe that has worked for you, but I'm certain it hasn't been pleasant. And the other thing is that fear is wildly unpredictable. While it can sometimes motivate us, it can just as easily paralyze us. Not to mention, it can gang up on us from numerous directions. Let's say you even do find a thrill of engagement, even if you were forced into it. Then you're stuck with this fear of never returning if stopping now kind of feeling. Then, also, you run into this exhaustion. The momentum eventually fades, and you're spent. You're unable to move forward. You might fear that were you to start, you might lock yourself in and then lose track of time in the world. Yet again, you'd miss something important and disappoint the people around you. As an example, there's something going on at 2 o'clock, and you can't do anything until then. You're afraid that you'll miss it, even if it's only 10 a.m. now. You might fear that if you don't do all the work in a single run, that you'd lose whatever muse or flow you were in, never to return. You might therefore have to enslave yourself to the work, or leave yet another project incomplete. Those are your choices. And then you can become increasingly afraid of these growing markers of shame. If you've left a bunch of incomplete projects, they're just piling up everywhere. And these fears can certainly become more complex, embedding themselves deeper in ourselves. Maybe we don't believe that we can be the best at something, and therefore we decide not to start for fear of revealing our inadequacies. Or we fear that if we try to do something, our sense of weakness is going to be on full display. And all of these can easily meld together into yet another bout of those I don't want to feelings. And then when somebody else tells us, or we tell ourselves, just start, it doesn't work. We've shoved ourselves through one fear after the next, leaving the sense of agency raw. So we wait for the next deadline to overwhelm whatever feelings we have with fear again in order to kick us into gear. It becomes this chronic, toxic cycle of fight or flight and exhaustion. What I would encourage is to consider instead a visit-based method to approaching work. This is different than one that relies on force or fear. A visit-based method is much more conducive to engaging ourselves and our surroundings, leveraging those things that are in us innately, our own curiosity, our own intelligence. Wherever we are and the work that's there, we tend to engage it at a much more natural way of being, at a pace that works for us. If you're interested in starting to break free from force-based work, grab a free download, head over to wavesoffocus.com/free PDF. You'll get a PDF that starts you off on what it takes to start a visit-based approach to work. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, kindly hit the like button, subscribe, and all the rest of those things.